Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, starring Tom Cruise, Jeremy Renner, Paula Patton, Simon Pegg, Josh Holloway, Leah Sado, forgive me if I said that wrong, Errol Kapoor, Michael Neevkvist, forgive me if I said that wrong, and Vladimir Mashkov, and directed by Brad Bird. Now I remember seeing this movie quite a few times, not only in theaters but at home viewing as well. So what did I think of it to this day? Well, let's get into it. In Budapest, Agent Hanaway, played by Josh Holloway, gets shot by Sabine Moreau, played by Leah Sado, with a brief, fun action sequence, I must say. I like those action. This is going to be a fun movie from the get-go. I love the breakout of jail of Ethan Hunt, returned by Tom Cruise, and to help out on that is Benji Dunn, returned by Simon Pegg, who was in last week's movie, and is now an IMF agent with an Agent Jane Carter, played by Paula Patton. It was a fun breakout sequence. In Kremlin, while Jane pretends to be a tourist, videotaping while Ethan and Benji break into the archive room in this place that looks a hell of a lot like a castle while in disguise. And when they try to get into the archive room, that really got me on the edge of my seat because I was scared for them. Like, I thought they were going to get caught at a point that made me breathless, excuse me. A detective believes Ethan was the cause of the explosion in Kremlin and almost has him in custody. And I thought it was funny how Ethan uses his belt to catch the truck. It made me laugh. The secretary of IMF, played by Tom Wilkinson, is in a car with William Brandt, played by Jeremy Renner, stopped to get Ethan out of Russia, and IMF is under Ghost Protocol. It was sad to see Tom Wilkinson die in his only scene in this movie. It feels like a cameo. But I like the fact we get to know more of Brandt as the movie progresses. Ethan and Brandt get on a train and find Benji and Jane in the car, or the train car, and they go on a dangerous mission to go after Hendricks, played by Michael Neevkvist. Forgive me if I said that wrong. I really enjoyed that plot. In Dubai, Ethan, Brandt, Benji, and Jane go to the tallest building in the world. And I mean huge and tall. Like, you couldn't even fit this screen. I love how Ethan climbs out the window and gets to get a device that Hendricks wants. That scene made me super nervous. Like, I honestly thought Ethan was going to fall down and splat. Tom Cruise doing all those dangerous stunts does honestly scare the crap out of me. And I also thought it was hilarious when Brandt says, "Your line's not long enough," and Ethan says, "No shit." And he jumps his way back to the floor, and almost falls down to his death, but still, there's no way in hell I'm doing that. Moreau gives Ethan and Brandt the codes, while Jane and Benji gets Moreau's diamonds, and they have another spectacular action scene where Ethan and Brandt beat up Moreau's bodyguards, and Jane drops Moreau all 110 feet to the ground, and Ethan goes after Hendricks while a sandstorm occurs. And how can Tom Cruise survive a sandstorm? Well, he does his own damn stunts, but again, I'm having fun with this movie and its action sequences. In Mumbai, India, I should say, we go to a party with Ethan, Brandt, Benji, and Jane. Benji helps Brandt floats to the electrical room, and Jane impresses the owner of the house and party and seduces him, and they go to and gives him a pleasure with seduceness. And a knockout by a needle and Ethan gets to find Hendricks and brings the detective trying to find him throughout the movie. And Ethan and Jane go after Hendricks. Benji tries to get some plugs put back in, and Jane gets shot, and Brandt turns on the lights when some bad guy switches off and have the fight with Brandt, and Ethan fights Hendricks and stops the missile from a terrorist attack which was a fun final fight between spies and terrorists, and I laughed when Ethan said, "Mission accomplished." That was fun. We get 2 cameo of returning act characters. Luther Stickgull, returned by Ving Rhames. I wish he was more in this movie. And Julia, returned by Michelle Monaghan at the end. And I enjoy Julia in part 3, but won't she be back? But she won't be back until the new movie. And Ving Rhames barely is in here, sadly, because I love Ving Rhames' presence, and I know he'll be in next 2 movies. But how big is his role in the new movie? Well, I know he's bigger next week, but the reason I ask is because he's just a badass, and I can't wait to see him again in these next 2 films. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 8.6 out of 10. This is a very fun Mission Impossible movie with great action, awesome characters, and a very good plot. And I had a lot of fun with this movie, but I'll rank these movies after I review Fallout. But for sure, a lot of fun. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with Rogue Nation. And until next time, mission accomplished.